Hey there, cat fans. Welcome to Meowster Podcast. I'm Rebecca Zish, and that's Tim Black.
Hi.
Hi, Tim.
How are you, Rebecca?
I'm okay.
Good.
Busy.
Oh, yes.
You, sir?
I'm busy as well.
Excellent.
Yes.
That's good.
We had to squeeze in a quick recording session to get this done in the middle of the day.
When is this going to happen?
So here we are.
Because we must do this.
Yes, priorities.
Especially this.
Oh, yeah.
So
Anything Top Cat.
That's right. Today, we are going to discuss the 2011 film titled Top Cat, the Movie.
Don Gato y su pandilla. The original title.
Yes, which just means,
Means Top Cat and his gang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Big deal.
Yeah.
All right. But to us English speakers, Top Cat, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Top Cat, the movie was a Mexican and Argentinian production.
Right.
That was supposedly written by a couple of Americans and then translated into Spanish.
Yes.
Although there's some doubt on the internet whether that's actually true.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. There's a possibility that maybe these two American guys didn't have as much to do with the writing of the script as the American and British distributors wanted people to think they did.
Yeah.
But I don't have any proof of that.
Okay.
But
It's just it's a rumor that's out there. Okay.
Yeah. But a Mexican comedian is given credit for translating it into Spanish.
Oh, okay.
I had his name here somewhere. Jesus Guzman.
Okay.
He's a Mexican comedian and actor, and also did some of the voices in the Spanish version of the film.
All right.
So people agree that he did, and since the Spanish language version of this film was released first,
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's why people are suspicious.
Must
The
be.
idea that it was written in English,
Right. And then translated before it was even released as a thing.
even though it was a Mexican and Argentinian production.
Right.
So you would think that the script had been written in Spanish
You
and then
would think.
translated for the American and British releases of it.
Right.
But who knows?
All we know is there is a movie out
And
there.
here's what I have to say about taking credit for the script of this film.
Okay.
I wouldn't. So there's the possibility that none of these people wrote it,
Yeah.
and the people who really did write it
Right.
took their names off it.
An Alan Smithy production.
Exactly. Yes. If you don't know what that is, you can go look it up,
Right.
listeners. All right. So this film.
Yes.
Whew. Can I begin by asking why? Like, why in 2011?
Why Top Cat?
I actually know why.
Okay.
And it's because Top Cat continues to be incredibly
Fiercely
popular.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, incredibly popular in Spanish-speaking countries in South and Central America and also in the UK.
Yeah.
Continues to be incredibly popular. So I understand that.
Right.
But why this movie? Why in 2011? And I think we'll get into some of this.
Yeah.
Like what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
That is. There is a lot wrong with it.
Yeah. But before we do any of that, I want people to understand just what a big deal this still is. Like Top Cat to people.
Uh-huh.
In Mexico, this movie in Mexico is one of the biggest box office openings in Mexican cinema history.
That's amazing.
Yes. And it's like, this is a hugely popular movie in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like the DVD sales have been insane. It was released in Blu-ray, even though it was like 2011 and like not everything was getting released in Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Its initial DVD release was in Bluray. Okay.
I don't think you can get a Blu-ray here of this movie.
You can't.
No.
It's never been released in an American format in Blu-ray.
Okay.
I know that as a fact.
Okay.
Okay. So it had one American DVD release. It was in 2013, And it's very hard to find.
Oh my gosh.
Now.
Yes.
If you're an American, it's very hard to find.
Yeah.
It's apparently not hard to find in the UK. It was not only released in the UK, not only was it released in Blu-ray, it was released in Blu-ray 3D.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah. So
I know it had a 3D theatrical release.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It wasn't created to be 3D.
Right.
It was created in regular animation.
Right.
But then it was released in regular and 3D into theaters.
Yeah.
But it was, so in Brazil and in the UK, you could buy this on Blu-ray 3D.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
The animation studio, the co-production animation studio, which is called Anima Studios, which is the Mexican or Argentinian animation studio.
Yeah.
This was the first film they ever made that was released on Blu-ray at all.
Oh, okay.
So this was a big deal for them, okay?
Wow.
So so it had one of the biggest box office openings in history in Mexico, in Argentina. This thing made back its money.
Mm-hmm.
It earned almost $41 million in Mexico.
Wow.
In its original release.
That's amazing.
Theatrical release. Yeah.
Wow.
I just keep thinking about this.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and that was just in Mexico. And Argentina had a huge release.
Yeah.
It had a huge Spanish reception as well.
Yeah.
It was one of the highest grossing movies in Uruguay.
Wow.
Yeah, no. Turkey loved it.
Wow.
So did Peru.
Amazing.
Internationally, this movie did so well. In the UK, the weekend it opened at number 7 that weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. It only opened on 452 screens,
Okay.
which is not a lot of screens.
Right. Yeah.
And it was released the same weekend as The Avengers and Men in Black 3.
Okay.
So like big movies.
Yeah. That's a big weekend.
A huge weekend. And it still got 452 screens and earned $500,000 or £500,000 in its first weekend.
Yeah.
Which in American money, that'd be like 1.2 million American or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think their tickets cost as much as ours.
That's a respectable opening.
Yeah, for a terrible animated movie based on characters that are 50 years old.
Right.
That's really saying something.
That really is saying something. People love Top Cat.
Yeah.
In whatever form they can get it.
Right? So, yes, I wanted to get that out there. We are going to say probably some incredibly disparaging things about this film, but
there are some good things about the movie, too. It's not 100% awful.
There's a couple of good jokes, like individual jokes
Right.
that happen.
Yeah.
But the
For the most part, overall, I agree.
Terrible.
Yes.
So I can't remember if I mentioned it. I know I put it on our Facebook page a while back, but the prequel to this movie was released last fall, 2015.
Top Cat Begins.
Top Cat Begins in the UK, or it's already been released in some Spanish-speaking countries. That was released this past spring in the UK. There are no plans to ever release that film in America.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And in fact, this film that we're about to talk about did not have a theatrical release in the US. It was only ever released on DVD, not on Blu-ray.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Only DVD.
Only DVD. And there are no plans for Top Cat Begins to have any kind of ability to see it in the US at all.
Amazing.
Maybe if you're on an international flight, you might have a chance.
If you're flying to Uruguay.
It might be on your plane.
It might be.
And your plane's entertainment system. I don't know. I don't know if how we're ever going to see it.
I don't know.
Maybe we have some fans in some other countries who might
be able to point us in the right direction. Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't get one of those European format DVDs.
You have to have a special machine to play those.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, I don't have that either. A region-free player.
All right, so now that we've had a little bit of background.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Top Cat the movie.
As soon as I started watching this, the first thing I typed here is, what is the deal with the animation? With 3 question marks.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, does it have something to do with 3D? Which I found out it doesn't.
No.
So can you describe to our listeners who've not seen this movie what the animation looks like?
No. I don't really have the words for it.
Okay, I'm going to try.
Okay.
All right. So it looks like in old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, where there's a flat background that the characters exist in front of. And we understand that that's how old cell animation worked.
Right.
Right? So they would paint the flats and then put the moving characters on top of the flats.
Right. On those cells.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Except
Right.
that all the moving characters aren't flat.
No.
There's an attempt to make them look 3-dimensional.
Right.
But nothing in the background is moving.
It's very strange.
It's discombobulating.
Yeah. Yeah.
It throws. After a while, I got used to it. But when it first began, I thought, I can't watch this.
It is very strange. I read somewhere that it's computer animation, and they said it was flash animation. And I don't know enough about animation to know how that explains it. It's flash animation. I don't know. But that's what I read about the animation process of this thing.
Yeah, but I don't think that explains it.
Not really.
It would have explained it if it had been created to be shown in 3D.
Yeah.
I think that would have explained it.
Right.
But that's not true.
Right.
No one's claiming that.
No.
So I don't get it.
No. It's a strange choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came to the conclusion on my own, like with no evidence to support this at all, but that they were trying to do some sort of homage to Hanna-Barbera by having the flat backgrounds.
Right. Yeah, it feels like they're trying to do an homage to that, and at the same time be 21st century modern.
Computer animated.
Yeah, try to kind of bridge those two.
Right.
Unsuccessfully.
Totally unsuccessfully.
Go one way or the other.
The only time I thought it looked good at all was there were a few times they pulled back from the background, specifically right before the end credits, but there's some other times where they do it.
Yes.
And when you see the scenery, I guess, for lack of a better word, in 3 dimensions, it looks great.
Yes, I agree. Like at the very end, like you said, where they pull back from the alley, and you see the alley kind of
it's an aerial shot.
View.
Yeah. It wasn't the only time that happened.
No.
There were other times, but just as an example, that looked fine. And if they had done that, given the buildings and the trees and the street signs, of which there were many.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. And some of it was particularly weird because it would be behind the characters, it would be very flat. But if the characters were interacting with a street sign or a fence or a trash can that wasn't in the background, then it was in 3 dimensions.
Yes.
And that was also very disturbing.
Right. because it's not just the character. It'd be one thing if it was just the characters that existed on one plane and all the background stuff in another. But when all of a sudden there's a street sign which should be in the background, that all of a sudden
in the foreground and now it's in 3 dimensions.
The characters, yes.
Yeah, or a lamppost.
Very weird.
Or even in some scenes there might be a car in the background and a car in the foreground, and one car's in 1 dimension and the other car's in 3 dimensions.
It messes with your head.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. All right. Another thing I noticed right off the bat is I thought these characters, these cats, they look a lot like the original Top Cat characters.
They do.
A lot.
Very much.
But there's one thing that is so different, and I could not get past it and couldn't stop looking at it. It was as if, you're talking to someone who, was eating a handful of blueberries, and they were like a big,
it's all over your
big
face.
blue spot on their nose. And you're just talking to them, it's all you can look at, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm about to say?
Sure, go ahead and tell me.
Okay. I actually went online and pulled up pictures of the original characters.
Yeah.
So I could look at that while I was watching the movie and be sure
that you weren't just imagining.
Oh, no, I was not imagining things.
Okay.
For some reason, in this movie, all of the cats have incredibly thick eyebrows that they do not have in the original series.
Wow.
In the original series, all the cats have like a single black line over each eye to indicate an eyebrow.
Right.
In this movie, they all have like Gabe Kaplan eyebrows. they have like Groucho Marx eyebrows.
Oh, I love that. Not that the cats have big bushy eyebrows, but I like your description of them.
Did you not notice that?
I did not notice that. I didn't really pay any attention. I wonder if that's like a Mexican aesthetic.
Yeah, see, I actually began to wonder that myself. It is so upsetting to me. So
I noticed. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I noticed that something seemed a little bit off about them, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was.
Well, you know what's funny about eyebrows is that if you've ever met someone who, for some reason, has recently lost their eyebrows,
right?
Okay, I mean, and this could be because they're going through chemotherapy,
sure,
but it could also be because like they put too much lighter fluid when they started up the barbecue.
It's a barbecue accident.
Like there are reasons, or
sure,
maybe it was like a fraternity prank.
Of course,
and they got them shaved off or something. But if you're talking to somebody who doesn't have eyebrows, you won't notice it right away.
Right.
You'll just feel like there's something not quite right about that person's face.
Did you get a haircut? Wait, you're losing weight.
Did you get contacts? You normally wear glasses. You know, like you just can't put your fingers on it, right? So I think maybe eyebrows perhaps are a thing that people don't notice immediately.
Yeah.
Or they don't understand that that's the thing they are noticing, or that that's the thing they are noticing a lack of.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What clued me in right from the start, the second I saw Top Cat, was that his hat seemed wrong. Like, what's wrong with his hat? And I thought, is it smaller? Is it bigger? Is it sitting on his head in a different way? And as I'm thinking all of these possibilities to myself, I realized it's not the hat at all. It's the eyebrows.
Okay.
And then I started thinking, there is no way that I watched 30 episodes of Top Cat and that his eyebrows were that close to his hat. There's just no way that could have been true, and I hadn't commented on it. Of
course.
And so I pulled up these pictures of the characters from the 60s, and they barely have any eyebrows at all.
Right.
They do have lines that indicate where eyebrows should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that helps make them expressive.
Right.
Yeah.
But these eyebrows were bananas.
That's interesting.
so I was
go back and take a look.
I can't believe you didn't notice.
Like I said, I noticed there was something off, but I couldn't quite put my finger. They didn't look quite the same.
I think we need to pause for a second, let you look at the eyebrows.
All right. I'm going to pause and pull up the trailer on YouTube or something and see. Okay.
And then we'll come right back, folks.
Okay. Hang on just a moment. So I'm going to watch the trailer. Okay.
All right, we're back. What you think of those eyebrows, Tim?
Those were astonishing. I'm surprised I didn't notice that. Yeah. Everybody in the whole movie's got big bushy eyebrows.
Every single character.
All the people.
Yeah, just random background people.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoever was on eyebrow duty at the animation studio was not being supervised.
They have a whole department, an eyebrow department.
Yeah, a lot of pen and ink work going on.
Yeah.
Maybe
They were working overtime.
Maybe that's flash animation. That's what that means.
Maybe that.
If you're gonna work in flash animation,
eyebrows. It's where you get
a lot
started.
of eyebrows.
Yeah, a lot of eyebrows. That's amazing, though. Jeez, I there was something.
Yeah.
Now that
I
you
felt
pointed
a
out,
lot
when you pointed
better.
out immediately. I mean,
Yeah.
the first glimpse of Top Cat I saw, like, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And my point about, like, at first I thought his hat was pulled down too far.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So
His hat is being held up by those enormous eyebrows.
yeah, it's the only way his hat's holding on.
Wow.
No, I felt better figuring it out. And I
Yeah.
actually went back to the beginning and started over again. When that happened. I mean, I figured it out just very quickly.
Right.
But I went, you know what? I'm going to start over because all I could think was, what's wrong? What's wrong with their faces?
Yeah.
They don't look right. They don't look like the Top Cat characters. Why?
Yeah.
And then a couple of minutes in, I had it all figured out.
Right.
Yeah, I started over again. It didn't make it any better.
No.
But at least I wasn't
least you were
obsessed
able-
with their faces.
Right.
Right.
You identified what the issue was. You could move on.
Yeah. Now
look
I
at
could
all the
actually
other
listen
stuff.
to the dialogue and really pay attention to the dialogue, which is so important
Of course.
in this film.
Oh, yes.
Ah.
Oh, boy.
All right. So I don't even think we need to talk about the plot of this movie. I don't think it matters.
I don't think so.
There's just some things
It's basically
to touch on.
It's basically an hour and a half episode of the show.
It's more like 4 episodes of the show.
Yeah.
And even though we know that in any episode of Top Cat, there's at least 3 different plots. You know, so like in a 22-minute
Right.
episode of Top Cat, we went over this so many times.
Oh, yeah.
A
So much
million things
happens.
would happen.
Right.
You had no idea how that could just be one episode.
Right.
And you'd feel exhausted after watching one episode because so much happened.
Right.
About that much happened in this movie, only
Right.
it was 91 minutes.
Right. They stretched it way out.
But I think it was enough for 2 or 3 episodes, honestly.
Okay.
But even stretched out like that, it
Yeah.
didn't feel
No.
like
right.
that much.
Yeah.
I did notice something interesting. The first time we pan into Hoagie's Alley in this movie,
yeah.
there's an address on the sign for the
okay.
alley.
Oh.
And it says 12 to 20. So 12-20.
Okay.
Hoagie's Alley. Which would mean that the alley is on a block long enough for up to 6 houses.
Yeah.
Not that many houses.
Not
really.
a whole lot. No.
It's a pretty short alley.
Yeah.
Which got me wondering a lot of things. If it's that short of an alley,
It's like down in the village or something.
well, why has Officer Dibble spent so much time
This
worried
one
about it?
little-
Worried about how clean it is.
This one block.
No one in this movie ever talked about cleaning up the alley.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
It never came up.
No. And yet, there's hardly an episode where that's not a main concern.
Exactly.
Cleaning up the alley.
Yeah, it seems that in this episode, the cats are in the alley as always.
They don't spend a lot of time there.
They don't spend a lot of time there, but in the beginning, that's where they are.
Yeah.
And that's just nobody seems to care. Dibble doesn't care. There's no real issue with them being there,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Right. Because that was always the central
something.
point.
You cats messing up this alley, clean it up, or I'm going to run you all in.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And in fact, later in the movie, we find out that cat jail is full.
Right.
And that really bothered me because it meant that all the cops all over New York City are running in cats.
Yes.
Right? Cats are getting arrested. And it cleared things up for me a lot. The idea that cat jail was full.
Yeah.
Because, I was always so concerned by the idea, like, why are we arresting these cats? What's the crime?
Right.
I always took like really copious notes about, what the number of the infraction
Right.
was.
Yes.
And trying to make sense of all that.
The statute.
What's
Yes.
the crime? What's the crime? And is it a fine or is it jail time? And how that all broke down. And I feel like that was worth doing because there seems to be a serious issue with the New York City Police Department and their treatment of cats.
Yeah.
If cat jail is full, now maybe cat jail is like, 6 cells.
Maybe. It may not be
It
big.
may not be very big. But we do see dog jail.
Dog jail is big.
Huge. Huge.
Dog jail is Rikers Island.
Which also means that the New York City Police Department has a problem with their treatment of dogs.
Yes.
Now, I don't know anything about statutes against dogs.
Right.
Because that does not come up on Top Cat at all.
That's a whole other cartoon.
Right. But let me also point out that they never specified that these statutes and infractions and whatever were specifically about cats or specifically about dogs. They're just crimes.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so anyone, cat, dog, human, and who knows if they've got like guinea pig jail, bird jail. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But in this movie, we have cat jail, dog jail. We don't see cat jail. We don't see person jail.
No.
We just know that those two are full.
Right.
We learn both those are full.
Yeah.
There seems to be a rampant problem with jailing for minor infractions throughout New York City in this universe that these stories take place in.
It's all about private prisons. That's what this whole thing is about. Private run prisons. It's a political.
I'm concerned.
As you should be.
I mean, how many cats are in cat jail?
I don't know, but it's full. New York City cat jail is full.
It's full. Yeah, I'm concerned. I don't like that idea.
No.
Thinking of all those cats in jail.
Right.
I mean, are they getting, are there rehabilitation programs? Do they have the opportunity to expand their education, learn a trade?
Yes.
You know, what's happening
What's
in
the
there?
parole process?
Yeah. Is there a high recidivism rate? You know, because if you're not giving them alternatives when they get out of cat jail.
What else is going to, they're just going to go right back in. It's just a revolving door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, I felt justified in all of my note taking on all those details in the individual episodes.
Yes.
To just come to this movie and go, oh, well,
here we go.
See, there is a problem. There is a problem with all these different crimes that cats are arrested for.
Right.
Then when they're run downtown.
Yeah.
Because I believe I even asked that question on at least one episode. Like, if they arrested Top Cat and the gang, where are they going anyway?
Right.
Well, it turns out there is cat jail.
There is cat jail. Yeah.
It's just full.
Yeah. And it's almost like a race thing or a species thing. It's like,
sure.
Oh, those cats, they're nothing but trouble. We got to put them all, we got to have special jail for them, and we put them all in there.
Yeah, and the dogs.
The dogs, yes.
Yeah, only dog jail's not full.
No.
But it is huge,
It is
so
huge.
there is that.
There's at least one spot available in which they can put Top Cat.
And when Top Cat gets out, they put a human in that spot at the end of the movie. So, look, spoiler alert, nobody cares.
You're not going to watch this movie anymore, folks. Don't watch. It's really hard to get your hands on.
Yeah.
It's not worth the effort.
No, I mean, like other movies that
Unless you want to see those eyebrows.
You can look them up online.
Yeah, you can watch the trailer online and see the eyebrows there.
I also got to thinking whether Hoagie's Alley was a real street. And it was funny to me that I'd never considered it before.
Yeah.
Not once.
No,
Had I ever thought, I wonder if that's a real place. It's not. But then I had the thought that maybe it's a real place in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Because
Hoagies.
Because Hoagies.
It's a real restaurant in Philadelphia.
Well, yeah.
That would be a great name for a hoagie shop.
Yeah.
In Philly.
But they, hoagies are a name for sandwiches in Philadelphia, but not in New York.
No.
Anyway, and then I was laughing at myself, wondering. First of all, just laughing at myself because why am I even going down this road? The movie's that bad that I'm wondering
You're trying to entertain yourself at this point.
But also that I never considered these ideas before. That I'm watching 30 episodes.
Yeah.
I never thought. I wonder if that's a real place.
Right.
It's not.
No.
Okay, let's talk about the gang.
Okay.
Shall we go through them one by one and how they're treated in this film?
Sure.
Okay, who do you want to start with?
Let's start with Benny.
Oh, Benny. I don't think the writers had a good handle on his character.
No. Seems like to me that they confused him and Brain a little bit sometimes.
Well, they gave Brain a different gag to play over and over.
Yeah.
Whereas in the episodic series, Brain is just blank.
Right.
He's just dumb.
Yeah.
In this movie, they made it so when he said something that initially seemed dumb, it was actually the smartest thing anybody had to say.
Right.
And that's not Brain.
No.
I get where they were going with that idea, and it works a little bit, but then you also need to have a dumb guy.
Right.
And so Benny became the dumb guy.
The dumb guy, which it's not.
I know, you don't
Benny's
like
not
it.
the smartest guy, but he wasn't the dumb guy either.
He wasn't as cute as he normally is.
No.
He's normally really cute. He did do one cute thing. There was a scene where they were all in the alley. Not Top Cat. Top Cat's gone, and the guys feel abandoned.
Yeah. Oh,
And Benny's actually laying on his tummy.
Yeah.
And he looks very cute.
Yes.
And then he gets struck by lightning.
Right. Yeah, because that's actually a pretty funny scene. Where he's laying there and Top Cat is gone and he's very sad. He's very depressed. And he's like, oh, how could things get any worse? And then it starts raining.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, at least they can't get any worse than this. And then he gets struck by lightning. He's like, oh, come on.
And then he gets struck by lightning again.
Yeah, at least lightning doesn't strike the same place twice.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
Yeah. Poor Benny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the character there is a little off.
Yeah.
But his voice is okay.
The voice is halfway decent.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get, Maurice Gosfield died like in the 60s, I think. So, I mean, there's no way you could get him to do it. But, I mean, and he's a very unique voice. But I think they did a decent job with it.
It was all right.
Yeah.
On the other hand,
Yes.
Spook,
Gosh.
who was always a beatnik,
Yeah.
they decided to make him a surfer.
Something like that.
This is what I wrote down. This is the first thing that came to mind when I heard his voice.
Yeah.
I wrote, he sounds like he's in the band Sugar Ray.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means because I couldn't even tell
You
you.
know what any of those guys sound like?
No, but he started talking. And that's the conclusion I came to.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I know what they were doing. They're saying
I get it.
There are no more beatniks.
It doesn't make sense to have a beatnik. This is a 21st century Top Cat. They've got
Right.
cell phones and whatnot.
Yeah.
I get it too, but still.
But a surfer, that's not even 21st century.
No, it's not. And it's definitely not New York.
No, that makes no sense at all. Yeah.
No.
It would have made more sense to make him sort of like hip hop or something.
Right, yeah.
I was trying to figure out, like, what do you do instead?
That could be really tricky to make him hip hop considering his name.
Yeah, right. Because his name is racist.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I don't know either, but
something.
I think they should have just left it alone.
Just give him.
He's a beatnik.
Yeah, why not?
He's an anachronism, okay?
Okay,
Whatever.
fine. Make him a hipster.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, why not?
Give him a mustache
Why not?
and some craft brew. I don't know.
But yeah, that didn't make any sense.
I don't know. Maybe like sort of a Burning Man hippie would have been
Maybe,
better.
sure.
But the surfer thing, I didn't get at all.
No.
No. All right. Fancy, who has always sounded like Cary Grant. And that was the deal.
Yeah.
He's a ladies' man, and he sounds like Cary Grant.
Not anymore.
He has no character to his voice whatsoever.
Not at all. He's just like regular plain old nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why would women fall for him? And in this movie, women don't fall for him.
No.
He's getting turned down left and right, and women are annoyed by him
Yeah.
and walking out on him. I mean,
Again, inconsistent with the original character.
well, and I feel like, you know, the Cary Grant voice or maybe like an Antonio Banderas voice, like something that sounds sexy, the women are going to stick around for.
Right.
The lady cats, right? But he's just nobody.
Right. Yeah.
He's not even in Sugar Ray.
He's not. No. He's just a guy that bought a ticket to the Sugar Ray show.
Okay.
And not even a very good seat.
No. And he only bought one.
He only bought one.
He thought he'd meet a girl there. Forgetting that people go on dates to concerts, right? All right. So, Choo Choo.
Oh, my God. The Choo Choo voice is unforgivable. Unforgivable. I hate it so much.
It's just like high-pitched whining.
Yes. Again, you can't match Marvin Kaplan's voice. Very unique voice. But where are they getting this high-pitched thing? I don't know. I don't get it.
His voice was never high-pitched.
No. The accent is almost kind of the same, sort of.
Yeah, there's like a New York something to it.
Right.
Like a city thing.
Yeah.
But I bet you anything that there are voice actors who could do Marvin Kaplan.
I bet there are. But did you notice that the guy that did Choo Choo's voice did like 4 other voices?
Yeah, he's just doing all the
He
voices. They hired
does
one
all the
guy,
voices,
Jason something.
Yeah, Jason Harris.
Yeah, just doing all the voices.
We got one guy who can do 6 voices, so what the heck? We'll just have him do all the cats.
Well, I think in the Spanish language version, which is the true film, which we did not watch,
Right.
I think all the characters were done by individual voice actors.
Yeah.
Putting it in English is just like it's when we watch those Japanese anime, it's the same kind of thing. Like they're going to get one guy to do 6 voices in those when they do it in English.
Yeah.
But if you were to watch it in Japanese and you knew anything about, Japanese film actors, character actors, or what have you, you'd say, they got all these different people to do it.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same idea. Like this is the second version.
So
we got this one guy.
Right.
Who knows? The voices in Spanish might be dead-on impressions of all the original Spanish voices that went with the cartoons.
They might be, yeah.
Who knows?
But that upset me big time.
I did think that Choo Choo's character was correct, though.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, he was well written.
Uh-huh.
He was definitely Choo Choo. He was doing things Choo Choo would do.
Yes.
Yeah. Brain. Well, like we already said, he's given a little too much credit for doing smart things that just seem stupid or stupid things that are actually smart or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also felt like Brain got a lot of screen time.
He did.
Which is unusual because he doesn't usually get that much screen time.
No, he's one of the,
Yeah. I said there were a few things that were actually funny in this movie.
Yeah.
One of them is they go to Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
And Choo Choo's selling stuff. He's selling concessions. He sells programs and candy. Mm-hmm. And somebody says, I'll take a program. And it's a program from the zoo.
Yeah, that's right.
Not for the show at Carnegie Hall.
Not for the show at Carnegie Hall.
And then a lady asks him how much the candy is, and he says $3. And she says, that seems like a good deal. And then he says, $3. Do I hear 4? 4. And he starts doing an auction.
Auction for the candy, yes.
So that was funny.
Created quite a disturbance
at Carnegie Hall.
Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, fancy place.
One of the things that I really liked about this movie, and there were a few, but one of the things that I did like about this movie were the homages to the original series. They went to, at Carnegie Hall, Laszlo was performing.
Yes, I know. Spelled incorrectly.
Well, yeah.
So Laszlo, for people who don't remember or didn't hear that previous episode, Laszlo is a violinist that Benny is confused for.
Right.
In like episode 8 or something, like very early on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. But why did they spell it wrong?
I don't know.
So in the movie, it's Lazlo.
Yeah.
It's really, in the series, Laszlo.
Right.
And they do that throughout. So we meet at Carnegie Hall as well, we meet the Maharaja of Pikaju.
Which is wrong.
Because it's the Maharaja of Pukaji.
Yes.
Which is episode 2 of the series. Mm-hmm. I began to feel that it was a copyright issue.
Oh, maybe. Interesting.
So,
oh, yeah, I think you're right. Because it's, because this is not a Hanna-Barbera production. This is a whole different thing.
Yeah. So Top Cat dresses up as he's called Sheik Alley Cat.
Yeah.
But he dressed up as Sheik Ali Khat, Khat.
Yeah.
In episode 4 of the series, The $1 Million Derby. So I decided that it was a copyright issue.
Yeah. Maybe that explains the eyebrows as well.
No, I don't think anything explains the eyebrows.
But there were lots of cameos of characters that we've seen throughout the series. Did you notice in the beginning that Spook was playing pool with A.T. Jazz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That gorilla came back.
The gorilla.
The horse. The horse that likes getting its picture taken and runs when it hears a bell.
And
that
Gus.
horse was back. Gus was back.
Yeah.
The main female character in this movie is a cat named Trixie. There were no Trixies ever in the series, which I find a little hard to believe because they all had names like that.
They did. They were all in that Trixie neighborhood, but never quite there.
But she was very familiar to me anyway. So I did a little research, and she is the same design as Shirley from Rafi Fleas.
Oh, okay.
So both Shirley and Trixie are blue cats with the same hair.
Okay.
And she was the one that Fancy gave the scarab to.
Yes,
in Rafi Fleas.
Right.
So that was weird to me as well. Like, she looks exactly like this other character.
Yeah. She has a very different voice than Shirley.
Yeah, and a different voice than any of our female cats.
Yeah, she actually sounds very normal. She doesn't have a very cartoony voice at all. That was Melissa Disney was the actress on that, and she's actually very good.
Yeah, no, she was fine.
Yeah, she did a very good job.
Yeah. Oh, there were a couple other things, like when Benny actually sings Aloha Oi at one point, which he does in the very first episode of Top Cat. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there were any other things, but there's a lot of that going on. You know, so if you were a huge fan of this series,
it's fun to look for those.
You would catch on.
Yeah.
But are there really that many people who know that much about this series?
I know I appreciated those when I saw them.
But we sat down and watched all 30
we
episodes
did.
and took notes on them. So I don't know.
I think a lot of that stuff is going to go right over people's heads.
Yeah. Does it change your ability to enjoy the movie?
It would change my ability to enjoy the movie, being that was the thing that I enjoyed.
Right. Well, I was about to say, if you didn't get that stuff and that's not what you enjoyed in the movie, I'm not sure what anyone would be enjoying in this movie.
Right.
It's certainly not the eyebrows. Just a few funny jokes. So, for example, here's another funny joke. Okay, so going back to like when Benny was laying on his belly, gets struck by lightning.
Yeah.
But they're in the alley and they're all upset because Top Cat's gone.
Right.
And Choo Choo's saying like he knows better than to leave us. He knows we can't take care of ourselves. Right. And anyway, Benny says, I wonder what Top Cat is doing. And Choo Choo says, I know who would know. Top Cat. He always knew what everyone was up to.
Yeah, that's a good
joke.
Right.
And then there's this weird business where Benny says that one of the things that Top Cat always did for them was that he kept the lizards away. Oh, yeah, and then there's like a whole bunch of lizards
crawling all over.
They just come from nowhere. And I wondered if that was a very culturally specific joke.
That's interesting.
Like maybe in Mexico, people know that their cats are good at catching lizards.
Maybe that ties into some sort of expression. Don't let the bed bugs bite, or like don't let the lizards in, or whatever. You know,
make sure the cat gets the lizards.
Right. I don't know. But yeah, that was kind of weird, but it was funny.
Yeah, I was like, there's something else going on here with this lizard joke.
Yeah,
I'm not getting.
Right. That's hysterical laughter in Uruguay.
Yeah. I am laughing. I was laughing at that, but I wasn't sure why. Like, it's very strange. strange.
It seemed like
See so many lizards climbing over these cats.
It seemed like a very random thing. They were in an alley. Keep the rats away or something, you know.
No, he kept the lizards away. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe lizards are a sign of bad luck. In Argentina.
I don't know. I liked.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I liked the when they were in the alley. This was at the beginning of the film. They were in the alley and a phone rings. They're standing next to the call box. And the phone rings. Dibble goes to pick it up, and he says, "Hello," and it keeps ringing. You look and see that it's not even connected. The cord is cut. It's his cell phone ringing. Welcome.
Somehow I missed that.
Welcome to the 21st century.
Somehow I totally missed that.
Dibble's got a cell phone, and the police call box is obsolete.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dibble,
Yeah.
there's a funny kind of inside joke, because we were talking about voices and voice actors and stuff.
Yeah.
Officer Dibble goes in. He thinks he's going to be promoted to chief.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And
Right.
the chief is listing off things he's looking for in a successor.
Right.
And he says, like, he needs to be born on December 18th, which is so bizarre. But
Yeah.
Dibble's like, well, that's me, you know.
Yeah.
And then he says,
He keeps a lucky penny in his left shoe.
yeah, oh, that's me. Then he says, someone who has a slightly higher voice than normal.
I caught that too. That was
Right?
funny, yeah.
And so because whoever the voice actor doing Dibble
It's a little slightly higher than normal.
than we're used to. I thought that was really
That
funny.
that was really an interesting joke to put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little meta.
Yes.
Right? Oh, another funny Benny moment
Oh.
is they're talking about breaking TC out of jail. And Spook has an idea, and they're talking about that. And then Benny says, no, I think I know exactly what to do. And it fades to black.
Oh yeah. This. You think?
And
you
you're
think it's gonna
waiting, like it's going to go to a flashback or a flash forward, or
Right,
we're going to
some
see a
sort of-
montage.
Right.
And instead, we hear Benny's voice say, hey, there's that eclipse they were talking about on the news. And then the light comes back up.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah.
That
All
was-
over.
That was very weird.
Wasn't it?
It was so strange.
I love that joke.
It was funny, yes, because you thought it was going to go to, we're going to see exactly how Benny has this planned out.
No. It turned out it wasn't even a good plan.
No.
No, not at all. You know, Top Cat gets sent to prison from the outcome of a court case.
Yeah.
And did you think that when we were in court that it was just a dream sequence?
It did seem dreamlike. It didn't seem.
All of the sound in that courtroom scene
Yeah.
had an echo
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. It did. It did.
I'm now making faces at Tim to indicate
Huh.
that I do not understand.
I think that may have been to emphasize that the courtroom was empty. He did not get a fair trial. There was nobody in the jury box. The jury was Mr. Strickland. The prosecuting attorney was Mr. Strickland. His defense attorney was Mr. Strickland.
No, I get all that.
I think
But you're thinking it was echoey to indicate that there was no one in the courtroom.
there's nobody in the courtroom except the judge, Strickland, and Top Cat.
If that were an accepted method of showing the emptiness of a room in animation and live action media, I would accept that as an answer.
Okay.
That is not something that is done.
No,
That
I
is
would
not-
agree with you.
That is not how we indicate that things are empty.
No, I would agree. I would agree.
I've watched
with
a
you.
lot of
I
courtroom
know.
dramas.
Yes, as have I.
There's
And
no
I've
way.
even seen some scenes in which there were 2 or 3 people in a courtroom.
They
and
did
it
not
have-
put an echoing reverb
No, I know.
on all of the sound. It's not even just the talking. It's the music. It's the ambient, like the orchestral music behind them also has an echo on
It's
it.
very weird. Very strange.
I still think that we were meant to believe that was a dream sequence, and that Top Cat really wasn't being convicted. But then in the next scene, he's in jail.
In dog jail, yeah.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of jail,
Yeah.
and speaking of, that they need to come up with a plan to get Top Cat out of jail, another one of, I think, the funniest jokes in the movie was they go and get Gus to help them,
Oh,
right?
yeah, this was funny. I know what you're talking.
And then they're all crawling backwards through a tunnel.
Yes. Yeah, they get Gus because, like, you got to help us break Top Cat out of jail.
Because he's broken out of jail tons of times. He knows how to do it.
Right.
But in this, then we see them and they're all crawling backwards through this tunnel.
Yeah.
And Spook asks him, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, why are we going backwards?
And he said, because I've only ever broken out of jail. This is the only way I know how to get through the tunnel. Right. Just makes no sense, but it was wonderful. That's a great joke.
That is a great joke. And Brain said that sounded stupid. That was the stupidest thing I ever heard, or something like that, he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what Brain would say.
No, it's not.
Spook would say it. Tucci would say it. But not Brain.
Would say something
not
like
Benny.
Brain would say
not Fancy.
That makes sense to me. That's what Brain would say.
Yeah.
That makes
or
perfect sense.
Nothing.
Right.
Which was usual for Brain, just to not say much at all and to make you think that voice actor wasn't even called in to do a job. Also, speaking of the prison, when they break Top Cat out, I need some clarification here.
Okay.
They break him out, or they're going to, and they cause a prison riot.
They do.
For lack of a better term. It's dogs and cats going crazy, right? And it comes up in all of this that apparently the dogs he's been hanging out with in prison, and we've seen this in the movie. You and I just aren't talking about it.
Yeah.
But these dogs that he's been hanging out with believe that he's a dog.
Yes.
They don't know that he's a cat.
Right.
What? When did that happen?
It happened early on when he first got there. Not when he first got there, because they show him going into his cell and he
Yeah. But when? When did it happen?
It was like the first time that he went there for mess, like for his meal or whatever.
He told him he was a dog?
He convinced, because he's a slick talker and can convince people of anything. He not only convinced everybody that he was a dog, but convinced Griswold that he was a cat.
Right. That somehow I caught.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even make sense.
No, I know it doesn't make sense.
Why would he want one of the dogs to think he was a cat?
To think that Griswold was a cat?
Yeah.
So that they would mess with him rather than Top Cat.
Somehow I didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
I also didn't understand why when they break out of jail and they're like down in these tunnels or the sewer or whatever, and Top Cat and the gang know they've gotten away.
Yeah.
Top Cat says, "All right, guys, on to Detroit." Was there anything else about Detroit?
No, I don't know where that came from.
Okay.
I don't know what. Oh, hello.
Hey, Harriet. Harriet thinks there's something in my purse that she wants.
Oh.
She's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know where that Detroit stuff came from.
Well, and it was immediately kiboshed, or the kibosh was put on it.
Yeah.
What's that expression? I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, because they were reminded that they needed to go save Trixie.
Right. Because Trixie's in trouble.
Sure, because you have to have a damsel in distress.
Right.
Yeah, okay, just wanted to check. That was another thing on here.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, ask Tim what I missed, because I didn't get it.
Yeah, the Detroit thing, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. Did you have anything else?
Let me look through my notes. I have a note here that says that apparently there was a point in the yard, Griswold was about to beat up Top Cat, and this is where he convinced him that
he was a cat?
That he was a dog and that Griswold might be a cat. But so
I don't remember any of that. You realize that I gave up on this movie.
Oh, well, yeah, and me as well, because I don't fully understand either.
Well, the last thing that I don't understand
Okay.
is we'd already mentioned this, that they do an aerial shot, like a helicopter pulling back from the alley at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
At which point they start playing the song Back in the New York Groove.
Right.
Which is weird.
It's a strange selection.
Strange choice.
Yes.
But when they pull back from the alley, and we learned earlier that it's a short block, right?
Yeah.
That's not what an alley looks like.
No.
It looked like a park. Or somebody's very well manicured backyard.
Yes.
It was very grassy.
Yeah. Had a fence around it.
Nice white slat fence.
Mm-hmm. Not an alley.
Not an alley.
Yeah.
Which made it even more curious that they really hadn't spent any time there in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It was weird. I didn't get that either.
I mean, this whole series, this whole group of characters has to be based on the idea that these are alley cats that are looking for a leg up. They're looking to make some dough.
Right. And none of that happens.
No, nothing that they do has anything to do with money.
No, they've got no scheme.
No. Yeah, no worries about where they're going to eat.
Right.
Officer Dibble's not trying to arrest them.
I guess you could make the argument that at the beginning, Top Cat is trying to get a ruby from the
Maharaja.
Yeah. Ends up with that weird cell phone thing.
But he's not that concerned. Well, and the cell phone, of course, saves the day at
Right.
the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But even then, he's not concerned about eating.
Right.
About where he's going to get a meal.
Right.
Which is always a concern.
Yeah.
On Top Cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the next meal coming from? No one says they're hungry until the very end of the movie, and I can't remember. I think it was Choo Choo.
Right.
But that's usually a common theme, that they're hungry, common theme we're running a scheme, common thing we need cash for something. I mean, even when they're worried about him being in jail, they're never talking about his bail.
Right, yeah. There's none of that. It's really like Top Cat and the gang are secondary to this story. It didn't have to be Top Cat in this story. It could have been, you could have just made up all new characters.
I agree. Or it could have been a different franchise of characters altogether.
Sure.
Yeah, it really didn't matter.
Could have been the Jetsons.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who...
The bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy, Strickland.
Yeah.
First of all, one of the weirdest looking animated characters I've ever seen in my
awful.
life.
I hated looking at him.
Ugh. There's no way that someone who looks like that, all the things that happen to him, like he's considered a VIP and he rides around in limos and stuff. And it's like a guy that looks like that. Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, he was running schemes himself and tricking people.
Right.
Because he wasn't qualified for the job as chief of police and all this kind of stuff. But no, there are definitely prejudices and stereotypes regarding people that only have 4 teeth in their mouth.
Right. Yeah. And his running gag where he keeps talking about how handsome he is.
Right.
Which is, all right, we get it. You're not, but you say...
You're not self-aware.
You think you are. Okay, we get it. Yeah. You don't have to, in every stupid scene that you're in, every time you open your mouth, repeat the same joke.
No, that was bad.
They could have cut out 80% of those and it still would have been too much.
Yeah. No, that was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I've told you the couple of times I actually laughed. Mm-hmm. That's all I got.
Yeah, I liked the homages to the original thing. The rich lady shows up at one point, and at the very end, while they're playing Back in the New York Groove, they have these sort of reimagined, reanimated scenes from
the original series, that are not referenced in the movie.
No, they're not, and I thought that was really interesting.
Well, I thought that was confusing at first because at first I thought I'd missed something.
Because there's Choo Choo bouncing on the trampoline, serenading the lady, and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, totally.
Benny doing the hula, Brain doing his worry bit, all that stuff. Lots of good stuff.
So if people made it to the end of the movie, and then were willing to sit through credits, then they would have seen some good stuff.
You would have been rewarded with that.
Yeah. But it was confusing because at first I thought those things had happened in the movie, and I thought that I had slept through a ton of stuff.
Oh no, I slept through a bunch of them. I have to go back.
Well, but I was more like, I slept through some good stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no, I didn't. No. Yeah, I saw the whole thing.
So how can people see this if they want to see this? You don't want to see this.
No, you don't want to see it.
You got it from the library.
Yep, you can get it from your public library, maybe. Try that.
I found it on a website called kisscartoon.me.
Oh, all right.
And I could stream it for free.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's all we got, people.
That's it.
You might be able to find it used if you've got a used CD and DVD store in your town. I don't know.
Don't spend too much money on it.
No.
Don't
Only
spend
get
more
it if
like
it's in the dollar bin.
Yeah, spend $1.
Yeah.
And then sell it. Yeah. Buy it for $1, sell it for $2. That's what Top Cat would do.
There you go. In honor of Top Cat, make a scheme out of trying to see this movie.
There you go.
Oh my God. All right.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Go play with your cats.
Go play with your cats.